Guys, what did we think of this third installment of Miss Marvel?
So, I enjoyed it, but I think they sped up a little too fast on the villain revealed story, and which makes
Yes.
me hope that they're trying to get to something else quickly and just cutting through some of these parts that we're so used to.
Yeah.
But I like the episode. I like that now we're starting to see the villain. We're getting an idea of who the villain is supposed to be. And we're understanding they're also once again, they're stepping aside from the mutant concept. Again, they always find a way to tease us in a little bit. Oh, your power's already in you. And then psych, you're a genie. You're a genie.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
I really love that they did that backstory a little bit on Hermione, and they did the Kree thing, which is spoken of. I loved what they did with the Kree stuff. So getting the backstory on the great grandmother and at least giving us a taste of what that was, giving us the story about the Jinn and allowing us to have at least a baddie that also doesn't seem like they're going to overshadow the idea of her journey as a Pakistani American powered girl in New Jersey, but also the fact that it was like we're now kind of shaping her hero story as opposed to just her personal, which the two are intertwining perfectly. And now that we have the friends, we got the trio, which I'm realizing that Marvel is doing with basically all the teams. There's always a trio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
it's a formula with Spider-Man and his amazing friends.
Yeah.
And that's what she is. She's very much the female Pakistani Muslim Spider-Man. That's
from New Jersey. It's literally the opposite of Spider-Man.
Yeah. It's New Jersey, so there's some American politics involved in that. I'm not going to geopolitics. It's certainly rich, isn't it? Like it's they're really they're doing like what they did with Shang-Chi, and they're doing what they did with Moonlight. They're diving into that world.
Right.
The wedding was colorful and it was culturally interesting. There's lots of this one's got really interesting characters involved, like the Illuminatis and all these people. That the Iman he's an interesting guy. It's doing a lot of things that a lot of these other series are not doing. We were talking about Kenobi before. This one's getting us to meet these people and this world really well. But you're absolutely correct about the baddies. They start this episode, we're the Jinn, we're from another dimension. Everyone's like, whoa. 20 minutes later, I think we'll be bad.
Yeah, and that was the part that was just like, ooh, we hit that a little bit too fast. Like, I didn't even have time to absorb the Jinn as
Yeah.
Like the betrayal was just like, oh, hold up, time out. Wait, we're just gonna kill everybody now?
You're bad now? Gee, you turned on a 10-cent piece, you mob, dude. That was a was a very quick. As
soon as I saw that good-looking kid in the car, I want to introduce you to my mom.
Yeah.
Okay, they're the bad guys.
Yeah. It eventually was. Just again, I don't feel like I soaked in the concept of who these guys were quite yet before they turned into baddies, and that was just one of those little stretches. I thought, oh, there's a chink in the armor. There were two things I thought were chinks in the armor in this episode. So the difference between this and talking about Kenobi is that we're talking about generally a very, very good episode. I think it's a very good show, with just these little things beginning to poke out.
Yeah.
And began to make me realize, hang on, the last time we saw, Kenobi was good for the first three, and then it went downhill. Are we starting to see another downhill? And that was the other thing that I don't know if it's a chink. It's just one of my pet hates.
Yeah.
A cliche that I hate, which is she's not telling her family or other friends about her superpowers.
That's annoying.
I thought we have done this to its death.
Yeah.
We have been there. We have done that. We've bought the T-shirt at least 3 times saying, I'm a superhero. Don't tell anyone. And when she at the end there, when her family said, "Please tell us," the mum was saying, "Tell us," and she goes, "I can't." I was like,
Yeah.
I had an argument with my kid about that.
Yo, if you get powers, you better tell me.
You better tell
I don't
me.
even want like a question. Oh, are you
Now,
keeping
she
dangerous?
says, my kid says, what's the point? Well, their family, they might know something about the goddamn bracelet. They might have some information.
Yes. It's frustrating.
Like clearly the mom knows something. Like she's experienced something. She might not know exactly what it was, but there's an experience that happened during the partition that she just has been holding off because of a trauma or whatever it is like that.
Yeah, it's frustrating. But again, it's this show is not breaking new ground in terms of superhero storytelling. It is breaking grounds in context.
Culture.
It's breaking ground in the setup. But at the heart of it, it's still a very conventional coming of age stroke superhero story.
Yeah.
So
they're doing what they did with Black Panther, and like you said, with Shang-Chi, but really more with Black Panther. Like give you the basic storyline, but we're getting a like you said, a cultural and experiential difference within it.
Yeah.
Like,
So
it annoyed the crap out of me because she's a South Asian girl, right?
Right.
And if she was a proper South Asian girl, regardless if she's in America, she'd obey her parents more. She'd be more shit scared over her parents.
I'll be perfectly honest with you. Having been friends with many people from South Asia and Middle East here in the U.S., I will consequently say I disagree with that. They would absolutely hide it, and not only hide it, they're also some of the most rebellious. But they also do it in a respectful way that is also, ironically, the cultural rewards and consequences. So, she seems quite accurate. And you, again, forget she's from New Jersey. And for the sake of the fact that this is the difference.
Those of us who've never been to New Jersey.
This is Singapore and Malaysia rivalry kind of thing.
All I know is that if those weddings are that cool, if Muslim weddings are that cool, I need to be going to a lot more Muslim weddings here in Malaysia.
You do. Yeah.
But I haven't seen anything or heard anything quite like that. It must definitely be that Pakistani manifestation, because Malaysians don't, because that was cool, like that whole dance thing. And even old matey, I call him Ron Howard Jr., the boy, because he's like, he's whiter than bread. He's whiter than bread. And he's there. He's whiter than white bread. Ron Howard Jr., he's in there. He even knows how to get into it and all that stuff. This is a good series, and I just hope that these little chinks don't set in. Like, again, Obi-Wan was good for 3 episodes, and then suddenly
the downslide. Yeah, I'm hoping. That's why I said I'm hoping that the only reason that they accelerated that process is that so they can get into the storytelling instead of trying to stretch out the story of them going evil, which we already know they were going to be evil. Like there was no doubt. There really wasn't doubt in our minds that the mom, especially the way they introduced her, coming out from the dark shadows inside the car. It's all the elements of you're going to be the villain.
That was so annoying.
So it's like I'm hoping they're just like, all right, everybody knows this part, so let's get to where it really matters, so that when we connect her over to the Marvels next year, it will be a much smoother transition through, so that the baddie that matters. But I mean, I do want to know more about these Jinn, because we've just added a whole new element of another level of the realms that exist in this MCU. Man. By the way, I would never, ever want to live in the Marvel cinematic or I already knew I never wanted to live in the Marvel comic world, but as a normal citizen, I would never want to live in the cinematic universe.
Let's remind our friends to please click on the subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you know when we have new videos out.
Subscribe!
Garbage. Oh, die.